Hello and welcome to Gomantak Tv. Friends, we are meeting an interesting personality today, the person who has pioneered water sports in Goa, particularly yachting, windsurfing, board sailing, and all such interesting water sports which are very popular now in Goa after so many years. Goa was always known for football, but this man who has won the highest honor of Goa state, Juba Dada Kerkar Award, has given a new recognition to Goa in terms of water sports, in terms of board sailing, in terms of yachting. Let's welcome Mr. Cesar Menezes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Goa is a coastal state, but before you, nobody ventured into this sport. How did you get inspired to take sailing and to take yachting as an activity, as a sports?
We started, when I was studying Portuguese study, Lyceum, and at that time, we had known as Scholar Nautica, sailing. And then there was one officer from Navy who used to come to teach us. And we had boats at that time in Dona Paula. So we started as young boy doing the sailing. And in Portugal, the standard of sailing is very, very high. So we gained lots of experience. And what happened soon after liberation, there was so much confusion, and most of these people went sailing. So somewhere I will remain alone. Subsequently, I bought a boat, and then some years later, and then when we started this Goa Yachting Association, was a formation of Bandorkar's idea, because he said there's so much rivers and other things, we should start that. Of course, the Goa government that time was Dr. Mali, was a director of sports. He didn't know what it was, but he wanted, so he asked Navy person, if that time there was Admiral Avati, he was of course Commodore that time, and to start that, committee. So he said, I don't know who are the Goans. So Dr. Mali organized. It happened that I was with Dr. Mali office for some other event in sports. So at that time I heard him talking on the phone. Then I told him I do yachting, I got my own boat. So he put my name. That's how we got involved in the first meeting, was in INS Gomantak. And thereafter, formation was there. And then with that, we started teaching. I had Derek's father, Dr. Ehrlich, who was sailing in Africa. And so he joined me teaching people. So we started teaching people, and there is that. And that's how the start of that yachting.
In 1973, you formed Goa Yachting Association. That time you must have been alone with very few people around you. From there to now, how do you look at this entire journey?
2-3 years later, more people started joining. Then we started buying, buying boats one by one. We didn't have fun. So I used because I was in a pharmaceutical company, which was, that time of Gomantak Menezes, I used to run that. And in course of time, we started getting people interested in sailing and other things. So few people like Anil joined me and others. And Derek, of course, was still in school then. After finishing, he joined. His brother Stanley joined. So lots of people started joining, and we started building little by little as the funds came in, raising funds. So we had dual. One is raising funds, buying boats, and raising this. Okay. And subsequently in 80s, we started windsurfing game. So we formed, with Anil's help, I was the founder president, Anil was founder secretary, and we formed the boat sailing association. And then we started going through that also.
So that time it must have been limited to very few people, very few individuals.
Yeah.
Now it is grown and Goa has become one of the important destinations
Yeah.
for sailing, for yachting. What are the things, the points, the encouraging points that you carry?
Encouraging is that now I've crossed the age, so I only support them sometimes financially, but I want all the young people to take up the jobs, they organize. So I still my now role is only to get them, when they organize the competition, to try to fund them if they can't organize funding and like that. So, but I, I've always liked the sailing is part of my, like in my blood, you may say. So I'm always there.
See, when you look at the younger generation and their response, now we are in the age of internet. People have so many distractions. How many people, how many youngsters come to participate or want
Yeah,
to be
yeah.
part of this sport?
No, we have limitation because they have to perform in the school. So lots of these people, school or college, so they have to, they can only plan April, May holidays, October holidays, Christmas holiday, and all the weekends. So, but we encourage them. We can't help. Sometimes they have their own studies, they got exams. So we are just balancing act, like.
And from where you get these students or youngsters who come, are they from the city areas or are they from the rural areas where the awareness is not so much there?
No, it's a mixture. It's a mixture. But mostly are from the cities and other things. So, not much right interiors.
And how did this idea of organizing national, international competitions came to you?
No, it came because we do bidding. So we started, when they organize national, they ask you to bid for if you want to organize. So that's how many times we bid for, and of course, we have to create the fund for that. Of course, sometimes SAG, some do the funding, but they have limitation. They do funding for association only once in 2 years or 3 years. They can't fund every year. So in between, we have to organize money.
Funds are the most important part of it. Is government wholeheartedly supporting your efforts or do you feel government should do something more in this?
The government, what happened? They have organizing so many sports. So they have got terrible pressure in. So sometimes they fund here, sometimes this. And unfortunately, SAG has the amount of people working there is so much. So most of the fund goes in salary. So the equation is not good. So the balance, for sports they can't.
So why do other businessmen from Goa, like or other philanthropists, don't take interest in this? You feel?
Because I think most of the business people, they get good publicity if they sponsor football. So football, they spend lots of money, and because they get lots of publicity, coming in there. So I think they are not really, uh, get interested unless individually they like that sports. So otherwise, it's very difficult for us.
Well, what were some of the highlights of the competitions that you had so far?
We had lots of people who got selected and represented India. And they represent India in competition. It's grown now. It's growing, but at a slower pace compared to, Bombay people or something else. They have regular competition. They have, there are so many yachting clubs in Bombay. So it's a different from aspects from Goa.
So, but do you think there is more scope for Goa to come to that
Yeah.
level, like they
Yeah.
have it in Bombay or any other coastal city?
Yeah, I'll not say like Bombay, but definitely he can go up in sailing. We have big difference between Bombay for windsurfing. We fall in the water is so dirty. Compared to that, our Goa is much better, and so many plus points are there. with Goa.
On the occasion of your 75th birthday in 2018, you started this new event, that is 75 knots
Yeah.
competition. How far it has progressed? Like
Yeah.
last 5 years, what has happened?
It started like that because 75, I didn't want to have much party and all. So, and I had lots of these friends, my young days, used to take part. And now they are wholesalers who competitive sailing. They represented India in several competitions in Europe and Asian Regatta, Asian Championships. So we felt they're laid off now because no longer they can take part. So when we organized, all of them very enthusiastic they were. They say at last we can sail again after 25, 30 years, we can sail again. So they were came in big groups to sail.
Okay.
Yeah, and we had lots of work of bringing boats from Bombay, from Chennai to make it an event, in a big scale.
Let's talk more about the forthcoming event
Yeah.
and also how it has affected your personal life. But before that, let's take a short break and we'll meet after the short break. Don't go anywhere, keep watching Gomantak TV. Welcome to Gomantak TV once again, and we are talking to a pioneer who has brought boat sailing, yachting, and all kinds of water sports in Goa. He is the person who has done it all, seen it all, has been a participant in all these events. How this sport has affected your personality as a businessman?
When you go sailing, you are with elements. Second thing, I find like doing a yoga, meditation, and when I'm out in the boat, you're with elements, uh, is with the wind, and concentrate on the wind for direction. You somehow relax, a lot. It's like many people yoga, meditate, and I find the same effect as a meditation when I go sailing. So often, sometimes I didn't have anybody to sail with. I used to go sometimes sailing alone. So it used to be a nice well-being. And second thing, it calms you down. You come down, come where, that is, see in business when you are there, you get all the time, sometimes you want to fire people, something else. So this calms you down in life.
Now you have two categories in this tournament that is going to happen. One is Masters and other one is Grandmasters. Tell me something more about it.
No, this is not much difference. Only masters, they found certain age and below, and grandmasters certain age, which is does not make much difference. But it's just that to give little advantage, maybe very old people. Even masters has to be above 45.
And how many races do you have altogether?
We'll be having something like nearly each individual will try to have 6 to 8 races, depending on the wind. These days, the weather, Sally, the raining, as it rains, after the rain, the wind drops completely.
Yes.
So it's a big problem sometimes, to complete the race, and they have to reduce. See, olden days, we had particular, June is to rain, June, July, August is to start phasing off. September is the rain is to be over. Now, October also the continues. So we try our best to suit the weather.
Yeah. You have been always innovative, brought something new all the time in this. You recently had this kite surfing.
Yeah.
How did that idea germinate?
No, kite surfing we found now all over is catching up with the youth. The youth wants faster and faster. So now windsurf also coming with the foil, which goes at high speed. So we are going to develop that. The foil, we are going to make boards for the foil, import. The foils are not available. We are going to import them and and boards, and we are going to train the young people into windsurfing with foil. Same thing with kite, you know. So it's youth people now, they want faster. Even sailing boats, you want faster and faster boats sailing.
For a common viewer, there are these two categories they talk about, like of your competition tomorrow. There is seabird class and the windsurfing class. For a layperson, how would you explain the difference between the two?
No, windsurfing is individual. People sail individual with a boat, and this one is like more like a family boat.
Okay.
This is safe boat in case of you know, that not like any other fast boats. You have to do lots of balancing, and this is much more easier.
Who are some of the participants who would be there in tomorrow's event?
With the exception 2-3 people from Goa. Most of them are from Bombay, most. And then they form Bombay a different club, Kolhapur Sailing Club, Royal Bombay Yacht Club, people who are ex-Navy. So they form from different places. And some of them, of course, represented lots of olden days, India, in competition in Europe, in Asian Regatta. And so there are lots of people who are good sailors who are coming here. So,
Besides-
yeah.
Sorry, please.
No, so it's not going to be that easy going, but it will be competitive. At the same time, it's fun regatta.
Because of your efforts, I would say, Goa has produced some of the champions today. Now, can you tell me some of the names which come to you who have brought laurels to Goa in these sports?
Yeah, there are lots of people who won nationals. So we have from Remy Fernandez, there was to be Matthew, but now he's settled in Dubai or somewhere. Derek won so many times, not just once, few times. Then there were lots of people who did very well. And first in the beginning, there was a person, Candido, and his brother. And there were lots of people who also got a Kirkar award, many of them. Yeah.
Oh.
Mark Bart,
Yeah.
yeah. And lots of people who continuously won many times became national champ.
What are the qualities that a windsurfer should have to get into this sport?
I think with windsurfing is you need a little bit stamina first. Also because all the time you are holding the sails, and skill and stamina. So both you need. Compared to going in my seabird, is you're sitting down and you don't have that pressure.
And how do you train the youngsters?
No, people like people like Derek, they volunteer to do that. There's no other. But in course of time, we are going to try to get in between, on and off. We had some coaches for short time, past national champs. So we are going to do that also, develop. Have some past people who, if they want to job, appoint them coaches with, so he can take youngsters.
Do you think it's a good idea to take this concept to schools and colleges and have some kind of introductory programs for them in this?
Yeah. Good idea. We must have enough boards, and we should try that. We tried once to assess speaking. We got few times, but they came for short time. We had like that in summer holidays. Camps we did for 15 days camp. After they start the college back, they again, the parents must be agreeable to give. They find that the sports is not going to earn them future. So they insist that they have to have, high marks in college to go into professional. So we have a struggle like that. Very difficult.
You have started something new. You have given, as I said earlier, you have given a new recognition to Goa. And I wish all the best to you
Yeah.
for your event. And I hope many more people like you come forward, many more philanthropists come forward and promote this sport in Goa, so that we have more and more champions, not only at the national level but at the international level. Thank you, Mr. Menezes. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, Cesar was the pioneer of yachting and sailing in Goa since the 60s, and I joined him in the 70s, and over the last 50 years we've done whatever we can to promote sailing in Goa. With Cesar's help, we have developed more than a dozen national champions who have gone on to represent India also. The problem is right now we are both getting too old for the game, so we have introduced a bunch of youngsters to take over from us and take the sport ahead. One of them is Derek, who was a national champion in windsurfing for more than 10 years and who is a RYA trained coach in windsurfing and an expert also. And the other is my friend Gopal Amin, who has been windsurfing with us, who's been a national champion himself also in windsurfing, and he has taken over now as the president of the Boat Sailing Association of India. I'll hand over to Derek to tell you more of their plans of how they plan to take things ahead.
Thanks to people like Anil and Cesar, we've been fortunate to have a great start. And this start has meant sponsorship of equipment, the opportunity to represent India at international level. No doubt we've had to have put in the hard work. But thanks to them, I've had the opportunity to represent India at several international competitions and done pretty well at some of them. As time has gone by, I've looked to increase that pool of not so young anymore, so getting further youngsters into the sport. And we've tried to broad base the sport by having a lot of camps for school kids in the holidays, both during Diwali and the May holiday at the end of the year, the academic year. Once again, Cesar has got a bunch of equipment which is ideal for teaching youngsters, and from those several coaching camps over the last few years, we have a whole pool of young talent that are doing extremely well at national level and international level as well. They have both won bronzes and silvers at Asian level championships. The Olympic cycle has just changed and the class has changed, and from the previous RSX, it's moved to foiling, which has made windsurfing and kite surfing, the new Olympic sport, very exciting. Both these two have been sponsored once again by this group and to take it forward. And this pool of young talent has already started taking, although they are 15 years old, between 15 and 18, they've already taken to kite surfing. They are at national level and international level in windsurfing. And we've just had a change, and we've got Gopal Amin now, who's very enthusiastic about sailing. He's put a lot of effort and sponsorship into, in fact, when many years ago when I represented India, his company was one of the people that sponsored me for a whole set of European championships, and he wants to carry on that effort into the upcoming future at IQ foiling and at the kite surfing, which are the two disciplines that have 4 medals in the next Olympics going forward from Paris onwards.
The work done by Cesar and Anil and Derek also gives me and the whole sailing association and the whole sailing community a phenomenal platform to move ahead. I think with all the other developments going on in India at a national level, awareness about sport and awareness about the importance of sport is picking up. So we plan on, building up in the IQ foil category sailers who can do well at the national level, international level, Asian level, etc. And while we do that, we also want to seed the sport with more youngsters. So we plan on holding training events across the country with different associations. Cesar has been kind enough to get us equipment. So the BSA the Boat Sailing Association of India will promote the sport as I think it is. We all believe, as you can see from all of us, it's a great sport for character building, for determination, fighting with the adversity when you're on the sea with rough seas, etc. Keeps you calm, like Cesar said. So I think there's a bright future for all of us and for sailors in India.
So we had a pioneer, we had a champion, and we had sponsor, and we had philanthropist who are talking about this great sport that has given a new recognition to Goa. I wish you all the best from Gomantak TV, and let your event get more and more enthusiasts, and let's make it a grand success. Don't go anywhere, keep watching Gomantak TV.